Welcome to the channel and to the 10th edition Warhammer 40k Battle Report, where the Sons of Sanguinius, the Blood Angels, take on the nameless horror of the Necrons. Today we're deep in Imperium Nihilus, where this settlement is under attack by the Necrons, and the Lord Regent of Imperium Nihilus, Dante himself, will be descending upon wings of fire into this battle grid. So we have some lovely large line of sight blocking terrain all over the place. This terrain is from urbanmats.com. It's their Badlands terrain. This battle mat is from urbanmats.com. That's their Badlands battle mat. And we're doing Dawn of War deployment, but chosen battlefields. What happens is you pick a deployment and you can pick a mission rule for your thing. And instead of sticking down the objectives as it did, we've done them where we think the objective should go, and you get 5, 10 and 15 points for the primary objectives in your command phase, up to a maximum of 15, which you score in this take and hold mission at the very end of the command phase, which is why I kind of like the new battle shock mechanic, because you do your actions at the start of the command phase, then you roll for battle shock, and then at the end of the command phase after battle shock, you might not be on objectives that you thought you were on. In 10th edition, the command phase and battle shock is definitely going to be a thing. The other thing about 10th edition is cover doesn't slow you down anymore, and cover doesn't give you minuses to hit anymore. What cover does is give you improved cover save. So I quite like that simplicity as well. If you'd like to support me, then you can become a channel member. That really helps me out. And if you become a tier 3 channel member, then that also unlocks my Discord and all the extra videos and things, and it's the price of a coffee from Costa or Starbucks, hashtag not an ad. So don't buy coffee, instead buy Winter's SEO membership, thanks. And we welcome back to the channel Sultan from Sultan Plays YouTube channel. Say hi, Sultan.
Hi, Sultan.
Blood Angels, what excites you about the Blood Angels in 10th edition?
I think they're the most killy Space Marines, and I love that. They're just the best shock troops the Imperium has to offer. So I'm standing by that.
That sounds like a challenge. Though. Like Black Templars are like, hold my beer.
Black Templars are Crusaders. They regain ground. Blood Angels are all about just driving a wedge straight into the enemy. In the Horus Heresy, Sons of Horus, tip of the spear, the Blood Angels are the only ones who could ever match them.
Okay, and you brought Dante.
I have, of course.
And he loves driving his wedge. And this is bang on 2,000 points worth of Necrons. I'm really pleased with the new points additions. I was able to make 2,000 points worth of Necrons. No idea whether this list is any good or not. Because the chocolate box has been fully opened for 10th edition. You can take 3 of anything. You don't even need to take battle line troops anymore. There is no troops, HQ, elites. All of that sort of shenanigans have gone. So this is the stuff that I thought would be fun and good to field, maybe. Necron's army rule is, if a unit is led by character, they get +1 to hit. Sorry, that's their detachment rule. That's melee, shooting, all that sort of stuff. And their army-wide rule is reanimation protocols. I can get back up again. First army selection, of course, is the Nightbringer. This is my proxy Nightbringer model, painted by Den of Imagination Painting Studios, the most gorgeous painting studios in the Sol system. This is like non-metallic metal, Sultan. I have no idea. I mean, look at that artistic work on. I have no idea how to do that.
It's better than mine.
Thank you, Den of Imagination. 255 points, I think. He's an absolute G. We'll see how he gets on against the aggression of the Blood Angels. And all my lovely bases are from marchofwar.co.uk. So across the front, Sultan, I've got a Chronomancer with 20 Immortals, right?
Yes.
Now, this fella, when you join him with some Immortals, any unit, in fact...
Warriors or Immortals?
They're Warriors, sorry.
Warriors.
These are the Warriors, these are the Immortals, these are the Warriors. They hit on 4s.
Okay.
So with him in it, they're hitting on 3s, and he gives them -1 to hit, that unit, and a move, shoot, move. Chronomancer over here, -1 to hit, move, shoot, move, but these are Immortals, they hit on 3s.
Nice. So 2s with him.
Yes. This guy, I gave the enhancement, the Veil of Darkness. Yep. So that's back. That's a once per battle redeployment thing. The change is you can't do it if you're in engagement range anymore.
Okay.
Okay. Over here, my Warlord is this Lockhurst Lord with a Resurrection Orb, which means my Resurrection protocols go off in your command phase as well as my command phase. And I've given this guy the Sovereign Coronal Aura. which means that any Necron units within 6 inches of him count as though they're being led by a HQ, so they get +1 to hit.
Nice.
And he's attached to a unit of Locust destroyers because they're lethal hits. They have lethal hits on 6s, and he gives them critical hits on 5s.
Nice.
So critical hits on 5s mean that lethal hits, basically 5s to hit, auto wound with this fella in there.
I've got to murder him.
I've got a unit of heavy destroyers, and they've got the big Gauss guns of doom, the destructors. Gauss destructors, 1 shot, but they're damage 6, which is even more powerful than the Doomsday Arc.
They're very scary.
1 shot gun is now damage 4. Yeah, so I've got some range. I've got some Daka. This is all the Daka. This is all my screen. And then talking about screening effectively, Wraiths are not what they used to be. They used to be always fall back and charge and things like that. They don't do that anymore. But they are tougher, toughness 6, and they still have a 4-up and vulnerable save. So they should still provide a roadblock to anything charging through. And then the best units in the game, Cryptek Reanimators. Canoptek Reanimators. Terrible in close combat, terrible shooting, but any Necron unit within 12 inches of one of these gets an extra D3 when they reanimate. So if there's 2 units, if one of these is within range of 2 of them, then they'll get their D3 plus D3 plus D3.
I'm guessing we'll see a FAC cap on that at some point, maybe?
Well, see, the way around it is, initially I thought there could be a FAC cap. And the FAQ could say a unit can only be affected by 1 Canoptek Reanimator at a time. I'd be fine with that because then you could spread them across the line.
Yeah, it's still useful.
Or if there isn't a FAQ on it, there's a way to stop reanimation protocols, which is kill everything in the unit.
And then you don't
reanimate.
Yeah.
And there's another way to kill it, which is kill these things. Now, they're only toughness 6 with 6 wounds. Where's the card? Yeah, toughness 6 with 6 wounds and a 3-up save. But they do have a 4-up feel no pain. So they can take it a little bit.
But you can just snipe them.
You could just snipe them out and then destroy them, and that's the end of that. So I've got some redeployment shenanigans. I've got some speed with the Wraiths and some stuff coming forward with the Nightbringer and with the Wraiths. And then a lot of Daka in the backfield. And in 9th edition, my dynasty was once known as the Cadian dynasty. But since Cadian has been shattered and the tomb worlds all across the sector have been waking up, we've now taken on the name, the Shattered Dynasty. So 2,000 points of Blood Angels led by Dante. They still get Oath of Moment. So in the command phase, point at a unit, reroll all hits and all wounds against that thing.
Nasty.
But they swap out the Tactical Devastator thingy bob for something else.
The red first, they get +1 attack and strength on the charge. So what you used to get in turn 3 and 9th, you get the entire game.
Okay.
And an extra strength.
+1 strength and attack on the charge all the time, and Oath of Moment, and you don't use the Space Marine stratagems, you use the Blood Angel stratagems.
Yes, so we lost the +1 to wound that was with Blood Angels throughout 8th and 9th.
Right.
But there are stratagems to give it back, and you can take chaplains that give it, and there's loads of abilities, so you haven't really lost it if you plan accordingly.
Okay.
So these are probably more brutal than they've ever been.
I'm scared. Talk us through this scary murder pile of doom.
So essentially I thought, why don't I just bring almost every special character?
Okay.
So let's start with Dante.
Yes.
He can only attach to a Sanguinary Guard squad, and he's the only person who can attach to a Sanguinary Guard squad.
Oh.
So if you ever want to bring a character to Sanguinary Guard, it has to be Dante.
Double checking, he's the only one who can attach to Sanguinary Guard, but he can also attach to...
Assault squads and Vanguard vets.
Brilliant.
Sorry, but you'd attach him to these.
But when you attach him to Sanguinary Guard, what does he give him?
So Dante's special rules is when he's with a unit, he gets +1 to charge and +1 to hit.
So Sanguinary Guard are hitting on 2s.
Yes, and every time he goes into combat, you force a battle shock test on your enemy with -1 to the battle shock result.
Okay.
Sanguinary Guard have a natural rule where they're -1 to hit.
In melee.
And when they're in combat with a Warlord, they're also -1 to wound.
Right, okay.
So with all this, they're a hate bubble. This is about 600 points right here.
So Dante's given them extra hitting.
Yeah.
And they're -1 to hit and wound in melee.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes, but shooting, no. Carry on.
And of course, Dante is an absolute beatstick himself.
Dante is an absolute beatstick. So next we have Lamartes, who's going to be leading a big 10-man squad of Death Company with jump packs.
Nice.
Again, he can only lead these. He gives them the lethal hits ability, so 6 is to hit, auto wound,
Brilliant.
which is cool. And he also does a really cool thing where he gives them -1 damage. Now, we chatted about this beforehand. Whenever it says -1 damage on all these cards, it never says to a minimum of 1.
Yes.
It just says -1 damage. So that leads us to believe, at least this is how we're going to play it, that 1 damage weapons can't hurt these guys.
Yes, so let's discuss, because the first time I saw this, I thought, no, this has got to be, this
Yeah.
needs a fact, -1 damage to a minimum of 1. That's got to be the way they go, because all of 8th, all of 9th, that's what they did. And they changed 8th and 9th so that you no longer have weapons that can't hurt anything anymore.
Yeah.
But that seems to have come back.
Yes, yeah, I mean, the fact that they have done it for all 8th and 9th, and it's the same rules team for the most part, you'd think they'd notice if they'd done this wrong.
Yeah.
So I think it might be correct. Or
So-
I'm giving them too much.
So we're assuming it's intentional, and it's also written that way. So we're going, rules as written, damage 1 weapons can't hurt these fellas.
Which is mad.
Now, across the indexes, this rule is kind of rare. There's a couple of units almost in every single faction that have reduce or damage by 1, which means damage 1 weapons can't hurt them. And if that ends up being a thing in 10th edition, and there's a couple of units in every single index that can do it, I'm actually quite down with that. We'll learn which ones can do that, and you tell your opponent which ones can do that, and just don't shoot them.
If every army has it, it's not so bad.
The time it's going to sting, though, is when you fire a multi-melter at them and roll a 1 to wound.
No!
Okay,
well, to add to that, they also have a 6-set Feel No Pain.
Brilliant. And they reroll all hits or something.
Yes, so Black Rage means they reroll all hits. However, if they're not within 12 inches of a chaplain, they lose objective control.
But Lamartis is in there.
He's a chaplain,
so I like the fact that Death Company reroll all hits all the time.
Yes.
It's not on the charge now. It's not when you charge, then they're
All
crazy.
the time.
All the time.
Plus, because they have the jump packs, they get to reroll charges.
Right, 2 murder balls down. Where are we going next?
We got 2 smaller murder balls that are a bit simpler. So we got Mephiston, the chief librarian, leading a 10-man squad of assault intercessors.
Right.
Because he can only attach like Primaris Marines these
Okay.
days. So Mephiston, he always gets the fight first.
Does he?
Yes, when he's leading a unit, the models in that unit, which includes him, gets fights first.
Brilliant.
When he's leading a unit, they have a 4 Feel No Pain to Psychic.
Okay.
And at the start of the fight phase, he rolls a d6. On a 1, he takes mortal wounds. On a 2 to 5, the unit he's fighting reduces their weapon skill by 1.
Ooh.
On a 6, they reduce their attacks and weapon skill by 1.
See, I really like that, because your to-hit roll can only go up or down by 1.
Yes.
But if your weapon skill gets reduced by 1, and then you could also have a -1 to hit as well. So if you had a weapon skill of 4 and your weapon skill was reduced by 1 to 5, and then a -1 to hit means you'd actually be hitting on 6s. There might be some combos out there that enable that to come off.
Yeah. He is the chief librarian now,
Yes.
so that's his thing. Next up, the smaller squad, we got a 6-man squad of Blade Guard, because at the moment, as the points are, you have to take 3 or you have to take 6.
Okay.
Normally I'd take 5. And we've got Chaplain Ordermail, who's my own character from the Devastation of Barburg.
Yep, and Chaplains +1 to wound now.
Yeah, so they're normal Blood Angels again.
So I quite like the change to Chaplains. Beforehand, Chaplains gave reroll to hits.
Yes.
So what happens with most chaplains now, there's some out there, I think Azimodai gives reroll to hits. There's a couple of chaplains out there that still do it. But it means that they're less hitty against, they hit less. But with +1 to wound, they're much, much better at killing higher wound stuff.
You're going to be wounding knights and vehicles on fire.
Yeah, and I quite like that.
Yeah. He's also got the 1 enhancement for the army, which is Artisan of War, which gives him a save of 2 and his AP is increased by 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're going in a drop pod,
What?
because Primaris can go in drop pods now.
What?
So they don't count towards reserves, not that I've got any reserves in this army, and it means I can just drop in turn 1 with this Murder Hell blob.
A unit of Blade Guard with a chaplain in a drop pod.
Yes.
So they're coming in. Mephiston is charging forward. Dante is charging forward. Lamartis and the Death Company charging forward. Also talking about charging forward, you brought along the teeny tiny Sanguinor.
Yes. So this is a reserve, actually, because they still have the best rule in the game.
We don't have to put them in reserve.
I'm going to, because it's the best rule. It's the coolest rule in the game.
What's the best rule?
If you charge me,
Yes.
he can deep strike into combat.
Brilliant.
And he has the fights first ability.
Brilliant.
So because defenders fight first, if he deep strikes into combat, he's fighting first. He won't get his extra attacks and strength, but looking at his data sheet, does not need it.
Okay.
8 attacks.
So directly into combat with 8 attacks. Of course, when he charges, that'd be 9 attacks.
Yeah.
Not when he's directly deep striking in. Anyway, so he's crazy. And then finally,
a Librarian Dreadnought. They do what they've always done. They're not quite as smashy as they were, but they've got one of the coolest rules going, which is a redeploy.
Oh.
Once per game, like Veil of Darkness, but I can do it into engagement range. You can pick an Adeptus Astartes infantry unit and chuck them across the field. So that means that if Mephiston and the Assault Intercessors are back in my lines, he can launch them across the field and they can go wheeling in.
It's his psychic thing.
It's his psychic thing, psychic special power. But he also has like a melter kind of psychic power too.
Can he redeploy himself? Or is it just an infantry
infantry
unit?
Yeah, so everything in the army except him and the... I mean, he can throw a drop pod if he wants, but he's not going to.
So I have to ask the question, what's staying back and camping on the objective in your deployment zone?
I'm hoping I won't need to.
Let's go to deploy then. After deployment, we can see that the Angels of Death are racing into this side of the battle grid while a drop pod streams down from overhead. There's the Sanguinary Guard with Dante, there's Lamates and the Death Company. There's Mephiston. And facing them, I split my army a little bit right and left. I don't have anything in reserves and put one of the reanimators down here to look after all of this pile with all my warriors and my immortals. There's the Nightbringer and the Wraiths. And then the Destroyer host over on this side with the second reanimator. Now we need to roll a dice to find out who goes first. I don't know who I want to go first. Like, if you go first and jump forward, but that'll put you in guns range. But then there is a large line of sight blocking in the middle of the table, which is essential in games of Warhammer 40k.
It's like a genius set.
You've got to have like sight lines and things. Anyway, after you, sir.
It's cocked as heck. Sorry.
Okay. That was a 5. Fumph, as the Germans say. That is a 1. It is definitely Blood Angels. Turn 1. In this battle report, we're both using tactical objectives, so we get 2 a turn every turn. And the orders from Dante are to take this battle grid. Get a unit wholly within 6 inches of the centre and no enemy units there. That's 5 CP. And extend battle lines. Control the one in your home objective and one in no man's land for another 5 CP. Lord Commander of Imperial Nihilus knows what he's doing. Here we are after the Blood Angels movement and command phase. In the command phase, you nominated the large unit of destroyers with my warlord in it as the Oath of Moment target. Mm-hmm. And then in the movement phase, you jump forward and the Sanguinary Guard now are wholly within 6 inches of the battlefield, so that's area denial. And you've got a couple of objectives in no man's land, as well as your home objective with your librarian. So that gives you extend battle lines as well for 10 points to 0. Turns out that a drop pod has an objective control value of 2.
Learn new things every day.
So the drop pods come slamming in along with the chaplain and blade guard, and that'll be a 9-inch charge into the Oath of Moment squad. And the librarian did his once per battle thing called Wings of Sanguinius.
Yeah.
And teleported the assault intercessors forward along with Mephiston. So they've got a 9-inch charge as well into the Oathed unit. So an aggressive start from Dante and the Blood Angels, I would expect no less. They're lining up some first turn charges while the Death Company hangs around at the back for now, getting ready to countercharge anything that I might decide to throw up, such as Wraiths or the Nightbringer. Let's go on to the shooting phase. We're starting off the shooting phase with the Assault Intercessors firing 10 heavy bolt pistols into the Wraiths.
Yes.
And these will hit on 3s. And we're on 5s.
That's 1 at -1.
4 up save. I'm okay. Now Mephiston is going to unleash his psychic power into them as well. Fury of the Ancients. And you're doing the hazardous one?
Yep.
Okay.
3 attacks.
Yes.
Hits on 2s.
That's 2 hits.
6s explode 3 times.
Brilliant. So that didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Strength
Okay.
5, toughness 5.
6?
Toughness 6. Okay. 5s.
One
Minus
gets it.
2 D3 damage.
Does it? Okay. 4 up and run. I make
You
it.
make it, and then he takes a hazardous test.
Because you did the hazardous version.
Yeah.
And if you'd have rolled a 1, that would have been 3 wounds.
Yeah. He's going to fire his pistol.
Okay. You've got a gun as well.
He's not overcharging because
Right.
he's already done 1 hazardous.
That's a hit.
Wound strength 7, wounds on a 3.
It wounds.
Wounds, -2.
4 up and run.
You're
I've
good.
made all my saves so far. But now the Blade Guard are going to do the same thing. So will I continue to make all my saves? I hope so. 3's to hit with the bolt pistols. And that is 4 hits. 5's to wound. And that is 2 wounds. 2 4-up saves. No, you scratch 1, takes a
Yay.
wound. 1 will be on 2 wounds remaining. And now the chaplain.
On a 2,
Hits.
hits, and then a wound on a 5 again. Nope.
And interestingly, that's the end of the assault phase. The Blood Angels jumping forward, taking as much terrain as they can. And now they're charging in to my big squad of destroyers. We're starting with Mephiston's squad, and you've got... I have to Overwatch. I have to spend the CP to Overwatch. Hitting on 6s, re-rolling 1s because it's the closest enemy unit. Nothing caused whatsoever. Now a 9-inch charge.
Come on, boys. Yes.
And that's a 9.
First charge.
Now the Blade Guard want to follow them in, and that is a fail charge.
As one squad got in, I'm going to let them have it.
Here we are after Mephiston, and the Intercessors pile in. They're not tagging any other units. All of their hate will be directed towards the Lockhurst Destroyers. What we doing?
Transfixing Gaze. This is the one I mentioned at the start where we find out if you have a lower weapon skill.
Okay.
Not that it matters on Destroyers, but on a 1, I'll take mortal wounds. No, on a 2 to 5, you have -1 weapon skill.
Nice. With the Blood Angels +1 strength and attack on the charge, this is 50 attacks. 50.
In turn 1.
Hitting on 3s. And re-rolling because of Oath of Moment. This is Scary Spice. Not Ginger Spice, Scary Spice.
Spooky Spice.
How many?
44.
44.
Wounding on 4s at strength 5.
I can't even count that high.
It's hard.
I think they're tough.
I need help.
I think they're tough. What, you need me
I've
to
got such
load,
little
load you
hand
up? I
splinters.
think they're toughness 6. 1 minute. Yeah, they're toughness 6. So 5s to wound.
Oh.
But you're re-rolling all of these as well. Re-rolling. Right, 27 wounds came through at AP -1. I need a lot of 4-up saves. 3 are dead. 1 takes 2 wounds. Then Mephiston fights. Mephiston has 7 attacks on the charge and he hits on 2s. Ouchie.
Both a moment.
Okay, at least he misses 1.
Yeah.
Spent 10 on the charge.
Wounds on 3s.
Re-rolling. -3.
Yes.
I need 6s. I don't get any 6s, and it's D3 damage.
So that gets 1.
Okay, yes.
Because he was on 1 wound.
Yes.
And then the next one
Is
2
still alive.
damage.
Now
Then
he's
dies.
dead. The last destroyer is
1.
still alive. It's now dead. Now my lord.
My lord.
My lord
1.
takes a wound, my lord. And at the end of the combat, there is a destroyer-shaped gap in the middle of this corner of the battle grid, choosing not to consolidate into enemy units and give them any free hits. Not that you need to. That's 1 unit entirely wiped out, and 5 points for area denial, 5 points for extended battle lines. And so at the end of Blood Angels turn 1, it's 10 points to 0. So in the command phase, we both gain a command point each. Then you do command phase actions, and I don't have any to do. Then at the end of the command phase, I do reanimations. So that put 1 wound back on my lord, 1 wound back on my wraiths. Now let's find out what the orders are for the Necrons.
The character doesn't take battle shock because he's no longer part of that unit, right?
Yeah,
Because of the
so-
turn it happened in.
So now we're in the battle shock step. So you look at the units on the army
Yeah.
and take battle shock tests for those units.
Yeah.
So his unit now,
Doesn't exist.
it doesn't
Yeah.
exist anymore. He's a unit of
Yeah.
1.
So it would only matter if one had been left alive, then his unit would take.
So if you have a
battle.
captain
Yeah.
with a squad of Terminators and all the Terminators get wiped out, then in your battle shock test, you don't have to take a battle shock test on that captain. He's just on his own now. He's sad that the unit have been wiped out, but
He's not shaken by
he
it.
now counts as a unit of 1.
He'll have a little cry later.
And that, yes, he will. He'll
Yeah.
they'll put the names up on the wall and they'll sing some hymns and stuff like that.
There we go.
Okay, so I've got extend battle lines as well. Take my home objective and 1 in no man's land and defend my stronghold. I have to hold the objective marker in my deployment zone at the end of the Blood Angels turn. Here we are after the movement phase for the Shattered Dynasty, and I've extended my battle lines here. And you'll notice that the Immortals are strung out in a weird kind of way, because I did think about putting them around this way a bit further, so I can get shots down in at the Death Company, but they reduce all damage by 1. And these are damage 1 weapons, so I can't even hurt them. So I've done this weird conga effect, because 6 of them now can draw line of sight into the Sanguinary Guard, who are going to get charged by the Nightbringer. With 5 inches vertically, 1 inch horizontal engagement range, he can get into combat with them, but they're minuses to hit and minus damage. Anyway, it's going to be an interesting fight between the Nightbringer and the Sanguinary Guard. We're talking about interesting fights. We're going to have 2 units of wraiths, hopefully slamming in to Mephiston and the Assault Intercessors, who have fights first, so they'll get to fight me first. But at the end of the movement phase, wraiths have a rule called a wraith form, and we've ended the normal move by jumping over the Assault Intercessors. So on 4s, they'll take mortal wounds.
Ooh,
and that is 4 mortal wounds. Ouchie. Right, now we're coming back down to this flank of the battle grid because the Immortals are going to try and take some shots up at the Sanguinary Guard. I am led by a unit. So I'm hitting on 2s. 6s are lethal hits, so that auto wounds. Then I wound on 3s. And because they're in range of an objective marker, I re-roll wounds. Now, interestingly, these are AP -1. But when you get down and have a look from the line of sight from here to up to there, I can't see the whole of the models. So they're 2-up save, stays a 2-up save. They have cover. Lots of this gunfire will hit the side of this building here.
8 2-up saves. Oh, that's cocked. You've definitely injured one.
I've injured one. Okay, next up, Gaze of Death from the Catan Shard of the Nightbringer. D3 shots. For 3 shots. It's blast, so I add 2 to that.
Because there's 10.
And he hits on 2s. That one's really cocked. And he hits twice. It's strength 12.
2s.
I wound once. -2. Brilliant.
Do they still get cover from his point of view?
If you apply it to, I think I can
I've
see
already put it
from
on
it
one.
from him. I can see him.
So it's a -2. It's a 4-up save, which I make.
You're good anyway. The Gaze of Death did nothing.
But that's not where he's tasty. He is a combat character.
Well, I hope so. We're going to do some more shots now. Crap talk reanimator.
No.
Could that do anything? He's got an atomizer beam. It's 3 shots. It hits on 4s. It's 1 hit. Strength 6. It doesn't wound. Right, let's get on to the big guns. Let's get on to the Doomsday Arc. Right, none of them are injured, so I'll do the Gauss Flare Arrays in a minute. Let's fire the big, the nasty Doomsday Cannon down for D6 +1 attacks.
D6 +2 because of blast.
D6 +2 because of blast, so that is 3 attacks. It hits on 2s because it stayed still, and that is 3 hits. It is strength 15 against infantry.
It's 2s.
2s to wound. And it's -4.
4 damage.
4
I'm
damage.
just going to pick them up.
I need 2 of them.
Yeah.
Let's do the flare arrays. They are in rapid fire range, so it is 20 shots. But these hit on 3s because the gun isn't heavy. 6s to hit are lethal hits. The rest wound on 4s. 9 3-up saves.
Oh, you kill 1, injure 1.
Next up, Sultan. The Lord's really angry. You wiped out his entire unit. So he's going to fire Staff of Light, and he's got an extra shot now. 2s to hit. I hit twice. Strength 5, -2, 1 damage. So another wound.
Fine.
He's fine. Now I've got the big guns that never tire. It seems like overkill to keep firing into the squad of intercessors, but let's do this. Hitting on 2s because of they're within 6 inches of him. And at strength really high, we're killing on 2s. Because that is -4, 6 damage. So that's not bad. I've whittled them down to only 3 remaining. That is the end of the shooting phase. You're right there.
Yeah, sorry. Well, 4 remaining. The Chief Librarian's still there going, guys.
He's not going to be there for much longer.
Oh, he will be.
We're going to charge. First off with this unit of Wraiths. That's a 3-inch charge. And then this unit of Wraiths over here. To join in, they're going to need a 9. And that's a 5. And I'm definitely not going to see reroll that. That's going to be fine.
There's
it's
a
fine.
thunderclap at the end of this charge.
What? Sanguinor is coming in hot. So here we are after piling at the end of the fight phase. The Sanguinor teleports in and joins, and there's lots of fight firsting going on here, but we also have a charge from the Nightbringer into Dante's unit of Sanguinary Guard. And now I'm going to CP reroll that. That was a Snake Eyes. Okay, that's a 10. We get the charge. So, a couple of things here. Mephiston reduces the weapon skill of the Wraiths from hitting on 4s to hitting on 5s.
On a D6.
On a D6,
So on a 1, he'll take mortal wounds. No, reduced to 5s.
Okay, weapon skill, that's bad. I'm only hitting on 5s. He's got to fight first with him and his unit. The Sanguinor's got to fight first. My charging units obviously get fight first, but in all rounds of the fight phase, defenders pick first.
Yes.
And then Dante?
He forces a battle shock test at -1.
Does he?
Yes.
Does he need a roll or anything? Or
so you roll for battle shock now at -1.
I think I'm battle shocked. The Catan has a leadership of 6, so he has been battle shocked from the Death Mask of Sanguinius. But now we go down into this furball fight with the Wraiths to see who fights first. We're starting the fight phase with the Sanguinor.
Yep.
7 attacks, 8 attacks?
8 attacks.
Brilliant.
And he didn't charge, so 2s to hit.
Okay, he hits every time.
And then he'll be 4s to wound at strength 6.
Okay.
But 6s are devastating wounds.
What?
Yes.
What?
So that's 2 damage per thing there.
Okay.
And then 1 save at -3.
1 save at -3. 4 up and vulnerable save. He
Good.
makes it. So that is 2, 4, 6 damage.
Kills 2 wraiths.
So, on to the wraiths. Let's try and kill these intercessors. Now, my weapon skill is 5, but I get +1 to hit because of his warlord trait. So I'm back to 4s.
Yep.
With my lord.
My lord.
4s to hit you with my vicious claws. At strength 6, wounding on 3s. -1, 2 damage.
So, first one, they're all fine.
They're all fine.
They're all fine.
Everyone's fine.
That's good here, Dave.
The attack of the wraiths just bounced. Right, carrying on with the fight's first units. Mephiston smacking the wraiths.
2s.
He hits 5 times.
Sorry. And then he will wound on strength 9 now, but 3 still.
Okay.
That minute -3.
5, 4+ invulnerable saves. I fail 3 of them. Each of these does D3 wounds.
So first one,
Kills 1.
second one,
Doesn't kill 1.
third one kills 1.
So Mephiston has killed 2. There are 2 remaining for your intercessors to fight. They're going to hit on 3s.
3s.
And wound on 5s. And
2.
2 more wounds.
-1.
2 more 4-out saves. I take 2 more wounds. And so at the end of that combat, the wraiths failed to kill anything in the target unit that they charged. However, lots and lots of wounds were done during the shooting phase at least, and the Sanguinor and Mephiston's unit are still locked up. However, now we're on to the remaining steps of the fight phase. The Nightbringer is taking on the Sanguinary Guard. So -1 to hit these guys because of all the death masks and things, right? And I've got the Stripe attack or I've got the Sweep attack. So we're going to hit with 6 attacks on, because I could go up to 14 attacks, but then it's only -2 damage, and you've got strats and things.
Yeah.
Are you spending any strats and
I'm
things?
popping Armor Contempt, because even if you do the AP -4 one, I'll then get a 5-up save.
Okay. 3s to hit you with a strike attack. I missed twice. This is strength 14, but you're still -1 to wound.
Yeah, 2s to wound.
So it's 3s to wound you. So that is 3 that get through AP
And
minus.
that's devastating wounds.
That is a devastating
So
wound.
you
You're
just
right.
apply those at the end.
So 2 5-up saves.
Fail them both.
Okay.
So you've killed 3.
Well, it does D6.
Oh.
Will kill the first one.
Yeah.
The next one does D6 and kill another one.
And then the 2.
But the devastating
Yeah.
wounds is D6, and
Ooh.
because it counts as mortal wounds,
This will spill over.
it could spill over. Yeah. So 2 are dead so far. Oh. 2 and a bit. Then the Sanguinary Guard pile into the Nightbringer. They've all got sanguinary blades. Ignore
I
the
kept
power
it
fist.
simple though. Yeah.
And they hit on 2s. Toughness 11, bro.
So 6s to wound.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. You got 3 6s. Any AP?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I've
-2.
just noticed his save is a 4-up save or a 4-up and bun. So 4-up and buns. How much damage?
2 becomes 1.
2. Yeah, because he halves all damage.
Yeah.
So he takes a wound. So he's down to 11 wounds left. But that's not it. He's got a party trick. He's got a sting in the tail. At the end of the fight phase, he'll try and drain the life from any enemy unit within 6 inches. I need a 4+ though on the Sanguinary Guard.
Yep.
Okay, so this is going to do D3. And that's another 3 mortal wounds. Now there's only 6 of the Golden Boys hanging out with Dante. It will also hit Lamarti's squad as well on a 4. I hit Lamarti's squad as well on a 4. And do 3 mortal wounds to them as well. Well done,
6 up
Nightbringer.
shrugs.
Oh,
No.
okay. So that
off.
was a sting in the tail. He managed to put out 6 mortal wounds at the end of the fight phase. Just staring. He's drained your life. I wish you'd put wounds back on him for doing that as well. Like drains your life and makes him stronger again. He is a star god after all.
He regens wounds anyway.
Does he?
Yeah, he's a living metal.
Oh yeah, of course. Living metal. Anyway, that is the end of turn 1. The charge of the race bounce, as we mentioned. Over here, the Nightbringer is still locked up as well. I do get 5 points for extending my battle lines. I'll get another 3 at the end of Sultan's turn if I hold on to the objective in my zone as well. But at the end of turn 1, right now, the Death Company and the Blood Angels are taking to the field, and the boys from Baal are in the lead at 10 points to 5. In the command phase, we're both gaining a CP. Then the Nightbringer was declared as the Oath of Moment target. So you're rerolling all hits and wounds against them. And now, Mephiston's squad needs to take a battle shock test. Leadership 5 or 6?
6. But the Sanguinor being in range allows them to re-roll this.
Okay.
They're fine
You don't
anyway.
need to re-roll it anyway. They are not battle shocked. Then at the end of the command phase, you score 10 points for being on 2 objectives here, making it 20 points for the Blood Angels and 5 points for the Necrons. Now let's find out what orders Dante is shouting out in turn 2. In turn 1, Dante wanted to take the field. In turn 2, he wants to kill as much as possible. Overwhelming force, kill a unit in range of an objective marker for 3 VP. No prisoners, kill as much as possible. In the Blood Angels movement phase, Dante immediately spends his command point for Relentless Assault. So the Sanguinary Guard can fall back and charge. They're broken free from the Nightbringer and want to go flying into this Immortals unit down here. And if they manage to wipe them out, that is take an objective off an opponent. 1 minute. Overwhelming force, destroy an opponent on an objective, completely wipe them out. And to take on the Nightbringer, Lamartes and the Death Guard are going to go Death Guard, Death Company, Death Guard, Death Corps of Krieg.
There's a lot of death in this.
Yeah, Death Wing. The Death Wing are going to go in against the Nightbringer. The Librarian Dreadnought staying at the back and overwatching the operations from back here. And of course the Sanguinor, Mephiston, the unit of Assault Intercessors, they're still locked up, but they're about to be relieved by the Chaplain and the Blade Guard veterans. So we're going to start the shooting phase down here because the Assault Intercessors have pistols and you can fire them into engagement range. And they'll hit on 3s. And that's 2 hits. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound. 1 is on a wound. And he's still on a wound. And then Mephiston has a couple of pistols. He's got a pistol shooting attack and a pistol, and you can do them both.
Yeah, so he uses Plasma Pistol first, not Overcooked, because of 1 damage. He hits. He'll wound on 3.
It wounds. He's still alive, that injured one.
And then he's got his Psychic Pistol attack, Fury of the Ancients.
Which
so
hits
twice, but that explodes 3 times.
Does it?
Yeah, sustains
Nice.
3.
Strength 5. 5's to wound.
It's -2. Sorry.
That guy dies.
D3 for 1.
Okay, he does die. It does D3 wounds. Hazardous test.
He's
you
fine.
don't roll a 1. He doesn't take a mortal wound. One of those wraiths gets wiped out. Mephiston there was doing all he can to shoot his way out of close combat so that unit would be free to charge some of the soft meat along my deployment zone. Unfortunately, the Sanguinor does not have a pistol, just a great big sword. So they're still all locked up. We're coming over here now. We have loads of Death Company firing at the Nightbringer, hitting on 3s.
Rerolling for Oath of Moment.
And I think they've just re-roll hits as well. I don't know if that's a melee thing.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay,
And then
6s.
6s to wound, rerolling everything.
Because of Oath of the Moment.
Just 2.
2 more wounds, 2 more, 4 up and vulnerable saves. He takes another wound. The Nightbringer's down to 10 remaining. Next to the Death Company, the Sanguinary Guard cannot shoot. The strat allows them to fall back and charge, not fall back and shoot. So that's it for this flank of the battlefield. So we're going all the way across to the other flank of the battlefield again, to the Blade Guard veterans. And my Warlord isn't attached to anything anymore. So they're shooting at him. And they hit twice. They're going to need 5s to wound him though.
Nope.
They don't wound.
And then the Chaplain has 1.
He hits.
Wounds on a 5 as well. No.
Doesn't wound. And that is the end of the shooting phase, just killing 1 Wraith, but it is in the charge and the fight phase where the Blood Angels excel. Let's see if the Blade Guard can make it in to the Wraith with a charge of 6 and not slowed by terrain anymore. That's probably okay. The Death Company can't really fail, but let's roll up to see where they get to. They go in 6. And then over here, hopefully the Sanguinary Guard and Dante do not trip over their own shoelaces.
This is a 4-inch.
Going into the Immortals.
They do not trip
That's an
over.
11. They definitely don't trip over their shoelaces. So the Blade Guard veterans make it here. They're a fight first, along with all the other squads here that are fighting first. The Death Company get into combat with the Nightbringer, and down here, Sanguinary Guard are engaging my Immortals, who have to take a battle shock test. And they pass their battle shock test, and I've only got 1 CP and no shenanigans, so I can't pay to interrupt anywhere. So we're going to start down here with the Sanguinary Guard and Dante. Now, they hit on 3s. Dante makes them hit on 2s. The Chronomancer makes them go back to hitting on 3s. 5 attacks each. +1 attack on the charge is nasty. Quite a lot of misses, but 3s to wound because they went charging in. 12 wounds came through at -2, so I need 12. 5 up saves. So there's 3 Immortals remaining in the squad, and then Dante strikes on 3s. 6s to hit are lethal hits, the rest wound on 3s. 6 wounds come through at -3, so the first 3... Okay, all the Immortals are now dead. Now the Chronomancer has a 4-up invulnerable save.
He's alright.
And how many wounds? I think it's 2 wounds.
2 damage, yeah.
So the Chronomancer's on 2 wounds remaining. And because an enemy unit that started the turn within range of an objective marker has been destroyed, that will be overwhelming force. Now we're going on to the Death Company. 2 Thunderhammers in that squad, which hit on 3s or 4s?
But I reroll everything because of Oath or because they can.
Yes. The 6s to hit are lethal hits because of Lamatis, so they're already wounded. And that is 5 wounds.
Oath at the moment.
4 wounds in total. 4 invulnerable saves. I make 2 of them. The 4 damage becomes 2 damage because of Nightbringer. So it's down to 8 wounds remaining. And now there's some Power Fist attacks. And these hit on 3s. Re-rolling everything. And lethal hits are still a thing because of Lamatis, right?
Yes.
Then 5s to wound. And re-rolling everything because of Oath of Moment. There's not a lot of re-rolls in this edition, right?
No.
I've got to make 11 4-up invulnerable saves.
Ooh.
I make quite a few of them. Now, go the chainswords. On
no
3s.
6s.
Re-rolling.
2 auto wounds.
Which is good, because these are only strength 4.
Yes.
So you need as many wounds as you can to get through. These wounding on 6s. There's another couple of wounds, because he's only got 3 left.
Oath.
Okay. There's many more 6s again. I have 9 4+ invulnerable saves on 3 wounds remaining. And
oh, he's alright.
the Nightbringer bosses every single one. But wait, Lamatis can strike on 2s.
Lethal hit.
Okay.
And then he'll wound on something. I'll check.
Hopefully 5s. Yeah, strength 6, he needs 5s to wound. Those are 3 more wounds that come through.
Invans.
3 more, 4+ invulnerable saves. How much damage is it?
Well, 2 each, but
Becomes 1 each.
Yeah.
So the Nightbringer's on 1 wound left. He manages to withstand the assault from the Death Company. Now we're still in the fight first step of the fight phase. So you're choosing to go with the Blade Guard first, because we haven't seen them yet.
Yeah.
And then there's one guy in engagement range of the Wraith.
So he can choose to do hit rolls of 1 or re-roll saving throws of 1. He's going to do hits.
Okay.
So he hits on 3s.
Yes.
Re-rolling the 1.
Okay.
He will wound his strength 5.
But +1 strength.
+1 strength because he's charged, and +1 to wound because of a chaplain.
Okay.
So 3s.
3s. 3 wounds. Okay. Oh yeah. It's a dead Wraith. So the Blade Guard go jumping in, wipe out that last Wraith. The Sanguinor and Mephiston look back over their shoulders and go, "Hi guys." And at the end of that combat, you can't consolidate anywhere because you can't consolidate into a unit.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only consolidate if it brings you into a unit or within range of an objective marker, and you can do neither. So this unit are just hanging out there. That is the end of the fight first steps of the fight phase. So let's fight with a Chronomancer. He'll hit the Sanguinary Guard on 5s because they're -1 to hit. I hit you once. Strength 5. -1 to... I don't wound you. Okay, let's go across to the Nightbringer. He doesn't reduce. So I can't do the sweep attack because then you reduce all damage by 1. So all the 2 damage becomes 1 damage. So let's do the strike attack one more time. On 2s. Everything hits. Are you minuses to wound or anything?
Nope.
Because otherwise I'm wounding you on 2s. Everything wounds. Those are devastating wounds, and these are AP -4.
I got no save, but I do have a 6-up feel no pain.
Okay. So one guy needs to feel no pain.
So
3.
that gets ignored. Because that was a 1.
Well, you still have to feel no pain. Oh yeah, that's a 1 damage, so ignore it. So a 2 and a 3 then.
So 2 6s. Nope. And then a 3. Nope. So
that's 2 dead.
2 dead.
And then these are devastating wounds. So if I roll 12 here, it could be a lot of mortals.
Good.
I rolled 10. See how many more feel no pains you can make.
1.
Oh. In the end, the Nightbringer wipes out 6, puts 1 down to 1 wound, and then does his drain life. And it's a 4, so it's another D3 mortal wounds. For another 3. Feel no pain?
Nope.
That's another 2 dead because 1 was injured. How many are left now?
1. And Lamarties.
1 and Lamarties. I'll buy that for $1. Sultan, I really didn't expect that to happen, but I think we just saw there the power of devastating wounds.
Yeah.
Because mortal wounds spill over.
Yeah, it's strong
Powerful.
when you've got a big gun like that. I don't know anyone else who does something like that.
Maybe the other Catans. Technically now, they're an epic hero. You can only bring 1.
Yeah.
But there are 4 Catans. So technically you could bring all 4. You couldn't do that before.
Oof.
And at the end of that turn, the Necrons have been pushed right back. Yes, the Nightbringer's hanging in there on 1 wound remaining. But the Sanguinary Guard are about to run through that unit and destroy my entire unit of warriors. The first charge of the Wraiths just bounced off against the Death Guard. The Death Comfort. No, Death. What are they called?
Assault Intercessors.
Okay, no death in it at all. We bounced off Methyston. So I've still got some...
He is the Lord of Death.
He is the Lord of Death. That's probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got some units left in the backfield. I've got redeployment shenanigans. However, the Blood Angels did get no prisoners, wiping out 2 units, and overwhelming force, making it 27 points to 5 in favour of the Blood Angels as we go into Necrons. Turn 2. 1 minute. Just checking Veil of Darkness rules, you see. So the Veil of Darkness happens at the end of your opponent's turn. So at the end of your turn, I'm going to stick this unit into reserves, my unit of warriors, to teleport back in my turn. Now we're going to go on to Necrons turn 2. Right, at the start of that command phase, I have defended my stronghold, and I do get 2 CP and Sultans on 1. And with defending my stronghold and holding on to 1 of the primaries, Necrons now have 13 points to the Blood Angels 27. The Reanimator's got the defend stronghold stuff. Right, now I need to do battle shocks. This thing isn't below half of its starting strength. It starts off with 2 wounds, and yeah. Battle shock on the Nightbringer, leadership 6 or 7.
I need him to fail. Damn.
He's not battle shocked. And I think that's it for battle shocked units. So after all of this, then I reanimate, and this thing will reanimate, the Nightbringer will reanimate D3. So he's back up to 4 wounds. My Cryptek, he gets 2 D3 because he's in range of this thing. Yeah, he's definitely up to 4.
He's up to 4.
That's it. That's it. Let's move some stuff. No, orders. The Shattered Dynasty want to spread out across this battle grid. Area denial. Make sure I'm wholly within 6 inches of the centre and no enemies. That one is kind of doable. Engage on all fronts though. If you get in every quarter of the battle grid, you get 4 VP. If you get in 3 of the quarters, you get 2. Okay, here we are after my movement phase. The Cryptek's not backing down because locking you up here, if I can lock you up here, is okay. The Sanguinary Guard and Dante can move a very long way, but the Reanimator has got a 4-up, feel no pain, so I feel like he might be able to hold that unit up, and I'm doing the same with the other Reanimator on this flank. Hopefully I can hold up Mephiston and the Assault Intercessors for a while. Just keep them locked up for a turn or 2. Now in Sultan's turn, he is going to get 5, 10, 15 points for the primaries, so I need to do something about that. So I've lined my big guns up round here to try and shoot a drop pod, which seems like an incredible waste, but at least it isn't getting cover. And I've advanced my Warlord back over here, so the +1 to hit strat is a thing. The +1 to hit because of his Warlord trait. Now, area denial. Turns out the Nightbringer is wholly within 6 inches of the battle grid, which is about here. So in order to get it, I need to kill the Death Company that reduce all damage by 1. My claws are damaged 2. Go charging in. Hopefully enough attacks. And with the Nightbringer as well, that'll be some points. And then your Librarian's also give me scoring in the backfield. So I've got the big gun on the Doomsday Arc that I want to start off firing with first. And I am going to fire at the Librarian Dreadnought. So this is D6 +1 shots. Last time I rolled a 1. This time, 3 shots. I stayed still. I'm hitting on 2s. And I hit every single time. At strength 15, this is going to wound on 3s. And that wounds every single time. Now, AP -4 wouldn't be a save, but you did say off camera you put an Armor of Contempt on it, which reduces the AP by 1.
Yeah.
So you need to make at least 1 6.
Doesn't
you don't
make
make any 6. That is 12 damage. And the Dreadnought is wiped out. From the big Doomsday arc down to the Gauss Destructors on the heavy destroyers, firing at a drop pod? I'm firing at a drop pod. We're hitting at 2s because of the coronal thing. And I hit all of the times. And what's the toughness of a drop pod these days? Toughness 7 versus strength 14. Look at that, 3 6s. That's AP -4, 6 damage. I just did 18 damage to a drop pod. Dead drop pod. Somehow I feel like a bully in the schoolyard though. I mean, shooting at an immobile box. However, that stops you getting 5-10 points on the primary. So I'm quite happy with that. So now, do I have any more shooting attacks? Is his Gaze of Death thing a shooting attack? Yes, it is. He can't shoot it in. So the last thing left to fire is the Reanimator. And it has an Atomizer beam. It's firing down into the intercessors on 4s. I hit once. Yay. Strength 6. A wound. -2. 1 damage. I tickle 1. Now we charge. And we're in. Then we come across to the Wraiths. Charging in to the remaining Death Company. And they get a 5. And now we're on to my Reanimator charging the Sanguinary Guard. And it's in as well. So at the end of the charge phase, we have multiple combats across the line. But of course, we have the Fights First unit with Mephiston versus the Reanimator. So you rolled a d6.
-1 to your weapon skill.
-1 to my weapon skill. Now we fight. Mephiston hits on 2s. He misses twice.
Yeah.
His strength, huge.
Strength 9.
Toughness 6.
Threes.
Wounds on 3s.
-3.
So 4 6-up saves coming up. I make
Nice.
2 of them.
2d3.
Okay.
And then you
For
have
4 damage. And it has a feel no pain of 4+. And it feels the pain 3 times over. And it's down to, how many wounds to start off with? The Reanimator's on 3 wounds remaining. Then the Assault Intercessors go smackety smack smack. And that's quite a lot of hits.
Yeah.
But it's the 5s to wound.
That's the hard part.
And that is 2 wounds.
That was 3, so that was a 6.
3 wounds. 3 4-up saves.
You're good.
And then a feel no pain. Okay, so it did work. I have managed to lock up that squad. Shall we do the fight back here, even though you've got some more fight? No, there's some other fight first.
There's no more fights first.
There's charging stuff.
There's some battle shock stuff over there, but you can fight back.
Yeah, let's do the fight back here just to wrap this up. So 3 attacks, -1 to hit, 5s. I hit it twice. Nice. Wow. Strength 6.
3s.
I wound you twice, -2, 1 damage. Okay,
Me.
so the injured one, I do manage to punch him in the head.
Pop.
2 Assault Intercessors remain with Mephiston. So now we're going to more fight first things. Let's come over to Dante. So the Reanimator went charging in. You've got to take a battle shock test at -1 whenever you do this next to Dante. This is leadership 8 now. For the Reanimator is battle shocked, and it'll be leadership 6, which becomes 7 for the... Okay, everything here is battle shocked.
They're scared of Dante.
My OC is 0, so stealing that objective off of you isn't going to happen.
It was a good plan.
Now the Reanimator, it'll punch these guys.
Yes.
5s to hit because of the -1 to hit. I hit again, look. I managed to get one through.
Forced to wound.
And it doesn't wound. So that's a fight first. We won't get back here because now we have the Wraiths.
Yes.
Against the remaining Death Company. I kept this fella here from moving. So he's got the +1 to hit within range of my Lord, count as a lead unit. This one isn't fighting, however. But all these are in base or in engagement, and I've got 5 fighting. So I hit on 3s, and the claws will wound on 3s. It would be -1, 1 damage, 2 damage, but -1, 1 damage because it's Death Company. This is 10 4-up saves.
Ooh, mama.
So
Fail 3.
yeah.
6-up, feel no pains.
Okay.
You kill the one guy, and Lamartis has 3 wounds left.
Now, those are the fight first fights. But interestingly, coming down here, Lamartes, your Death Company guy, was engaged with him, and you pulled him away. So Lamartes is no longer engaged with the Nightbringer.
Yeah.
So it means the Nightbringer can't hit you, and you can't hit the Nightbringer.
Sounds like an impasse.
So that's the end of all of those combats. However, Lamartes isn't within range of the centre.
Yeah.
So I do get area denial. So the combat in the middle was so brutal that during the melee, the Nightbringer and Lamartes are no longer engaging each other. Now we're coming over here to Sanguinary Guard, doing some piling in-ins and fighting my Reanimator and the Chronomancer.
Yes, sir.
Interestingly, the Chronomancer's ability at -1 to hit is while he's leading a unit. He's no longer leading a unit. So Sanguinary Guard, led by Dante, will hit on 2s and win on 3s. 9, 4+ invulnerable saves. Yep, the Chronomancer is wiped out. Now we're doing 2 Sanguinary Guard and Dante attacking the Reanimator. The Guard hit on 2s. Oh. And Strength?
5.
Winning on
6.
5s then.
That's 3 at -2.
3 at -2. 3, 5-up saves. And then how much damage?
2.
Feel no pains. It feels the pain. It's on 4 wounds left. Can Dante take him out? 2s. The 6 to hit is a lethal wound, so it auto wounds. The rest are strength 8 and wound on 3s. 4 wounds come through at -3, so 6s. And then the feeling of the pain.
Oh, he doesn't feel any.
The Reanimator, still on 4 wounds remaining. It is Battle Shock though, because Sanguinary Guard only have an OC of 1 unless you stick a banner in there. So you still control that objective. But the attack of the Reanimators to lock up these 2 units kind of worked. The last thing left to fight is Lamartes in a Wraith Sandwich close to the middle of the battle grid. He hits on 2s with lethal hits, so there's a lethal hit. At strength 7, he wounds on 3s. Sorry, we read the wrong card. He's strength 6. He wounds on 4s. So 3 wounds came through at -2, 4 up invulnerable saves. How much damage?
2.
Brilliant. So that will kill a Wraith.
And injure 1.
And put 1 down to 1 wound remaining. Now, that's the end of the fight phase. However, the Nightbringer's ability goes off at the end of the fight phase. Every enemy unit within 6 inches. But I got to roll a 4 to drain Lamarte's life. I do roll a 4. He's on 3 wounds remaining, Lamartes. So if I roll a 5 or 6 on this, I've drained him completely. Oh no, he gets to 6 up, feel no pains. Drop dice don't count, so 1 more. No. And Lamarte's soul gets sucked into the heart of a dying sun. The Nightbringer is like, I love that little bit of soul. And takes him off this battle grid. And from this moment onwards, Sultan has agreed never to play Lamartes with 10 jump back guys ever again, right?
You had no problem with them whatsoever.
I had loads of... They're scary.
You had 0 problem
They're
with
scary
them.
AF.
Your guy killed 10 in 1 sweep of his axe.
That's because I did the devastating wounds thing.
Yeah.
So that kind of brought it up. That was fine. Anyway, at the end of that, I've got Area Denial, and the other card was Engage on all fronts. And guess what I forgot to do, Sultan?
Oh, does that mean they count as destroyed?
I forgot to drop my dudes in. So now I have dropped them in. Fortunately, I was able to tell Sultan about 5 times off camera, because we took a tea break, that they were coming in over here, way out of the way of the rest of your army. And that's probably why I completely forgot about them, because they weren't going to be shooting or doing anything this turn. They're just
hanging about.
Just hanging out.
Maybe they would have shot into the rubble where a dread used to be.
Well, the way I figured it was, there's an objective over there with where the dread was. There's an objective down here, so they can move right or left next turn to try and jump on an objective. And so long as it's far and far and far away from all your 5-first units over here, I'm completely happy. And so in spite of the relentless onslaught from the Blood Angels coming straight at the Necrons, because I've managed to engage on all fronts and got area denial, the Necrons are bringing it back. They're only 6 points behind now at 21 points to 27. So let's go on to Blood Angels turn 3. In the command phase, Dante is yelling out Oath of Moment on the Nightbringer 1 more time. You want to take it down. Then there is a Battle Shock test to take over here with Mephiston.
Yep.
But you've got the reroll because the Sanguinor nearby.
They are good.
And they're good.
Sorry, that was a fight. I keep doing that today.
Then at the very end of the command phase, you get 5 points only for picking up this primary on here, which puts Dante and the Blood Angels 11 points in the lead. But let's find out what orders he shouts out. Dante now wants to cleanse objectives, do actions on objectives that are under their control, the Blood Angels' control. Kind of tricky. And engage on all fronts, getting at least 3/4 of the battle grid. At this stage in the battle, when there's so few units left, that's tricky as well. In the Blood Angels movement phase, they are going for the throats. They've jumped off every single one of the primary objectives, probably because they've seen that the Necrons are off every single of the primary objectives as well, apart from the Reanimator, which is Battle Shock currently.
Yes.
Interestingly, though, You do score objectives at the end of the command phase, so that's after battle shock. So he could get better again. He could be all right.
Well, he's not below half wound, so he just won't need to take a battle shock.
That's true. Yeah. He'll be fine. You battle shocked him with your magic stuff.
Yes.
Anyway, so you spent the CP. You've got one more left.
Yeah. No, sorry, that's the one I spent.
That's the one you spent.
No command points.
To fall back and charge with
relentless assault.
Okay. Because Oath of Moment Nightbringer, the idea
is less about points and more about honour at this stage.
Well, the Nightbringer is the only really close combat thing left in my army. I say that. I've got Wraiths. Okay, I've got Wraiths. Apart from the Wraiths, what have the Romans ever done to us? And then round here, the Sanguinor is jumping forward to take on the heavy destroyers, and the Blade Guard are running up behind as well.
Yeah, I'm going to try and do some weird charging if I can. It's 7 inches into your character there.
Yes.
If I can string out, I might be able to tag a couple.
Yeah, because in the previous edition, you could only hit what you declared a charge against in the charge phase, but now you can hit everything you're in engagement range with.
Yes.
So with a long bomb charge, you could engage those heavy destroyers as well.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there's a chance. There's very little Blood Angels left on the on the field. Mind you, there's not a lot of Necrons left on the field as well. This game has been brutal as we go into the shooting phase. Pistols first.
Heavy bolt pistols, they miss.
Okay.
Mephiston with his plasma pistol hits. Its strength something.
That doesn't wound. And then he's got his psychic attack.
Yeah. On 2s, that's oof.
Because they explode 3 times.
Yeah.
The Fury of the Ancient psychic power smashing into that reanimator for 9 hits.
3s.
Which will wound on 5s.
5s, sorry.
At -2, I need to make a bunch of 5s. No, and each of these does D3 damage. And the reanimator needs to make 7. Feel no pains.
No.
And that's not enough. It will die. Hazardous check on Mephiston. He takes 3 wounds.
But he has a 4-up shrug to psychic.
Okay. I'm not sure if it is a shruggable thing. We'll check.
Is it?
So, checking the rules. That was hazardous damage.
Yes.
Mortal wounds. But he does have a 5-up feel no pain to mortal wounds anyway.
Yes, the Lord of Death has had enough of that walkie thing.
Okay, so he's wiped out the walkie thing, which doesn't have deadly demise. It's gone, and Mephiston is on 5 wounds remaining. Now the Blade Guard, shooting at my Lord with their heavy bolt pistols.
My Lord.
5 of them hit.
5's to wound.
2 of them wound.
-1.
And I take a wound.
Then the chaplain.
Hits.
Wounds.
And he wounds.
-2.
And I make that save. So the Lord takes a wound. He has Phylactery, which gives him a 5-up shrug as well. And I shrug it.
Nice.
He's fine. And in this close combat aggressive force of the Blood Angels, that is it for the shooting phase. Again, the Golden Boys over there fell back, so they can't shoot. So now we're on to the charge phase. Who's going to charge?
Sanguinor.
I'm wondering whether I overwatch, because how many wounds does he have? And if
7.
one of these, they're a 6 damage gun. See, if I kill him, it's the difference between locked up and not locked up.
Well, depends on the Blade Guard.
I'm thinking I should shoot him.
While you wait, should we do the Blade Guard?
Shall we do the Blade Guard? Let's do the Blade Guard. They don't engage my Lord.
No,
you have no CP.
No.
So let's spend the CP on trying to shoot the Sanguinor in the face, because I haven't spent many CP yet. 6 to hit him. I miss him. And now he goes charging in.
He's in.
He makes the charge.
Bonk.
Sanguinor gets in there. Let's roll for Dante and the boys. They make a 6-inch charge. So coming around this side of the battle grid, we're going to have a lot of Golden Boys engaging the Nightbringer. Right, at the start of the fight phase, Nightbringer needs to take another battle shock test at -1, so 7 or more. That's a 7. He is not battle shocked. And then on the charge, there's 6 boys left.
Yes.
This is 30 attacks into the Nightbringer. Hitting on 2s.
Re-rolling because of Oath of Moment.
Right, everything hit after the reroll. +1 strength on the charge gets you to strength 6 versus toughness 11.
5s.
7 so far. Re-rolling. He's got 4 wounds left. He's got 14 invulnerable saves of 4+ to make. And that is a dead Nightbringer. That does have deadly demise on a 6. And he doesn't blow up. And so a star god falls. Dante is canny enough not to consolidate into the Wraiths to give them free hits. Now we're coming across to the other side, where the Sanguinor is taking on my heavy destroyers. He hits on 2s.
9 attacks hitting on 2s.
He's strength 7 on the charge, so he's wounding on 3s with devastating wounds. So 4 6-up saves, negative, and they're 2 damage apiece. So 1 heavy destroyer, 2 heavy destroyers, 3. He kills the squad on his own. And that is the end of Blood Angels turn 3. They don't score any of their secondary objectives, so Sultan can ditch all of them and get 1 CP back. And here's my army. I've got a Reanimator on 4 wounds, my Lord chilling, and some Wraiths looking at the Sanguinary Guard. But, of course, there is the Chronomancer in the backfield with a huge unit of warriors as we go on to Necrons turn 3. So in the command phase, I'm up to 3 CP, Sultan's on 2. And then at the end of the command phase, I do reanimate and score objectives. So I do score this objective here.
Yes.
Because I'm not battle shocked.
5 points.
Yeah, 26 to 32. And then we reanimate. This thing is in range of itself. So it reanimates all of its wounds.
Yes, healthy boy.
The Wraiths
Healthy
reanimate 5 wounds. That will put this one back up to full and another Wraith back in with 2 wounds. And then for the orders, the Necrons want to steal a tempting target and capture the enemy outpost. The remaining Necron units move round to engage the Blood Angels, who have nominated this objective as the tempting target, which I can't get this turn. But capture the enemy outpost is something I would be able to do because I've spent a CP on Protocol of the Sudden Storm, which means that these weapons become assault weapons. So after shooting, I can move again because of the Chronomancer's ability in a shooting phase after this model's unit has shot. Now, I'm reading this. We need facts and things, don't we? We need to find out whether if the Chronomancer's unit can't shoot, can he still move, not shoot, move? Or does that ability completely disappear if you aren't eligible to shoot? Because it says after you've shot. So we're reading it as written right now, which means that unit has to shoot. So I've left 2 hanging over here, which can shoot at the Sanguinary Guard before I move again. So let's do that. I'm hitting on 3s because of the character and wounding on 3s. 2 3-up saves.
5.
And they make it. And then I can move them again, 5 inches. Right, so my Immortals unit is now captured the enemy outpost. Couldn't do that. Necrons before, particularly their infantry, was so slow. But move, shoot, move, and assault. I like it. I like it a lot. Over here, I've got the shots from the Reanimator going into the Sanguinary Guard. I hit twice. And at strength 6, I wound once, -2, 1 damage. And I tickle 1. And that's the end of my shooting phase. Now the Wraith charge the Sanguinary Guard, because the intention is, I need. They're too quick. They're the quickest thing in your army, apart from the Sanguinor.
Don't forget your big gun.
I can't. 7-inch charge. They go in. Yeah, I forgot that thing. The Doomsday Arc up there has got shots. Okay, the Doomsday Cannon on the big Arc of Doom. I would love to fire at the Sanguinor, who again is the fastest unit in your army with this jump pack along with the other Golden Boys. But he's a lone operative, so I can't target him if he's more than 12 inches away. And I'm more than 12 inches away. So what I'm going to do, let's kill Mephiston. Let's kill Mephiston as well, instead. So we'll do the rapid firing flare array first, hitting on 3s. Gauss is lethal, 3 lethal hits. Rest wound on 4s, and that's 7 3-up saves. And in the end, one of them's wiped out. Now the big gun of doom. I rolled a 1, then I rolled a 2, so this one's going to be a 3. It's a 6.
7 shots.
And this gun is heavy, so it hits on 2s. OMG. Strength 15, it wounds on 2s. Okay, so that nukes that guy. And then you've got, does Mephiston have an invulnerable
5
save?
of invuln.
He's got 5 of invuln now. You've got
6.
6 of them to make. I think that one is devastating. It's not devastating. 5 of invulns.
He makes 3.
Okay.
Fails 3.
So that is 14 5-up, feel no pains. Sorry, 12. Math is hard. 4 times 3 is 12.
Come on, Mephiston. You lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wounds. Oh dear.
He gets shot in the face by a Doomsday Arc and smeared across this battle grid, which means Sultan has agreed that it will never bring him again to any...
No, completely untrue, because Mephiston can't die. Plot armor.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, he does have the plottiest
He has a
of
book
plot
named after
armor.
him.
Have you read the Mephiston book, Lord of Death?
No.
I haven't read that one either.
I read Darkness in the Blood, though, and that's a lot about Mephiston.
Is it?
Yeah.
The Dante book is good, and Devastation of Baal. Anyway, we're coming over here. This is where my wraiths ended up after charging all of your golden boys.
Take a battle shock test.
I need a battle shock test. Their leadership's 7. So they failed their battle shock test. Which means I can't spend any strats on them. Sultan,
Yes.
I wanted to spend a strat on them.
What were you going to do?
+1 strength and +1 AP, because your AP is, you've got a 2-up save.
Yes.
And right now, my AP is only -1.
Oh.
I wanted to make that -2.
Yeah.
But
no.
3s with my Lord. Back to 4s with Dante. To hit. Then strength 6. But -1 to wound. To the Dante. So in the 4 wounds. 4 3-up saves.
You kill one and injure one.
It's 2 damage each.
You kill one and kill one.
So there are 4 remaining golden boys with Dante. Dante's going to fight first. Of course he is.
2s.
Okay.
Lethal hit, auto wounds.
Lethal hit, auto wounds. Strength 7, toughness 6. 3s to wound. No rerolls?
No rerolls.
So 5 wounds come through. 5 invulnerable saves. And I failed 3 of them. So 1 was injured. He gets wiped out. Another 1 falls. Then the remaining Sanguinary Guard hit on 2s. And win on 5s.
Oh, it's a good roll.
9 4+ invulnerable saves, each doing 2 damage each. So another one's dead. Another one's...
These are 4s and 5s.
Oh yeah, sorry. So another 2 are dead. And we're looking through the camera. There are 2 wraiths remaining. With Dante and the last of the Golden Guard holding up 2 of the wraiths. That is the end of Necrons. Turn 3. Down this side of the battlefield, my Lord and the Reanimator stand alone. And then there's a big swarm of 20 boys over here that have captured the enemy outpost and made sure that this game has only 1 point in it. 32 points to the Blood Angels, 31 points to the Necrons. As we go on to Blood Angels, turn 4. In the command phase, because we keep ditching orders, we're up to a healthy number of command points each. I've got 4, Sultan's got 3, and Commander Dante is declaring the wraiths as an Oath of Moment target. But he has to take a battleship test now at leadership 6.
He is fine.
Of course he's fine. Then at the end of the command phase, we add up all the objectives that the Blood Angels currently control.
None.
Which is 0. So they're still 1 point in the lead. But let's find out what orders Dante shouts out. Dante wants to secure No Man's Land, take any 2 objectives in No Man's Land, and also defend their stronghold, which is a long way away. Here we are after the Blood Angels movement phase. What is your plan, Sultan? Because I noticed that you're not currently on all 2 of the objectives in No Man's Land for secure No Man's Land. You're certainly not taking your outpost back, so you advanced up with the Blade Guard.
Yeah, to get a couple into cover and take the objective. The
Okay.
Sanguinor's iron up the character, which he should, unless you roll really, really well on your saves, be able to kill and then consolidate onto the objective.
Okay.
Just for next turn's
Oh
points
yeah,
gain.
your consolidation move will get you
Yeah.
there. That'd be 1-2 on the primaries.
And this
right?
might be silly, but I think it's cool. The 4 Sanguinary Guard with plasma pistols and Dante with his Inferno pistol,
Yeah.
with Perdition pistol, going to try and kill these 2 in combat. They're oathed the moment up, and then charge this way with +1 to charge.
Right, okay. So the only shooting that we do have is the Sanguinary Guard into race. And you're overcooking?
It's 2 damage if I overcook, isn't it?
Okay.
So we're hitting on 3s. I need to double check that.
And then you're re-rolling because of Oath anyway.
Yeah.
So they'll all hit.
Yes.
Now they're overcooked. Strength 8
3s.
with Oath of Moment. And this is still 2 damage, right?
Yes.
So 3 4-up invulnerable saves. You kill 1, there's 1 remaining. Hazardous checks.
1 dice.
There's a 1. 1 wraith remaining. Dante pulls out the Perdition pistol on a 2. It hits.
I am going to use the Oath of Moment.
Right.
I'm probably going to roll a 1 now, but if I roll a 6, he gets an extra D3 hits.
Okay.
So I'm going to try for it.
You're gonna
because
try.
this is the hero moment
You can
we
re-roll.
need.
You can re-roll.
He
That's
rolls
a
a
1.
Oh well.
So he ends up missing.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, he should be praying to the Emperor, not to Zinch. That's the thing. So, anyway, that's the shooting phase. We're now going to charge. Sanguinor into my Lord. And he goes flying in there. His OC's 1. That's 3. So you're going there. So when you do consolidate back, if you kill him, you end up on that objective. Is that the only charge?
Yeah.
I think that's the only charge.
Yeah.
So we're going to fight here. Sanguinor versus a Lockhurst Destroyer Lord. Surely can take it down.
Maybe.
He is on 2s. A strength 7 on the charge. He's going to wound on 3s with devastating wounds. Those are going to go straight through the invulnerable save. So first up, 3 invulnerable saves of 4 up, which I fail every single one. So you put 10 wounds on my 6 wound character. He's got a 5 up, feel no pain with Phylactery.
Oh, this turn could not have gone worse for me.
Look at that. He only takes 4 wounds. Then he's going to smack the Sanguinor back. But before we smack the Sanguinor back, we'll come over here to the Wraith, smacking against the Sanguinary Guard. So he's out of range now, the 6-inch range of the thing, because you killed them all. So he's hitting on 5s. He hits twice. He's going to wound on 4s, not 3s.
Yeah.
Wounds twice. AP -1. I did 2 of them.
One.
Oh yeah, I killed 1. Yeah, because instead of 3s to wound, it's 4s to wound.
Yes,
You're right.
Yeah.
At -1, 2 damage. So he does take 1 down.
And we'll fight you back.
And then Dante and the Sanguinary Guard can do their thing. So Dante fights back with his 8 attacks, hitting on 2s.
Rerolling
everything.
6 auto wound.
Brilliant. And
Strength
7.
3s.
Wounding on 3s.
Rerolling.
6 invulnerable saves coming up. I failed 1 of them.
So the 2 Sanguinary Guard are going to have to do it.
He's on 1 wound remaining. You'll have to polish him off with the rest of the Golden Boys.
2s.
They hit all the times. 6s. 5s now. Because it's
5s.
strength 5 versus toughness 6.
Rerolling.
Oath of Moment.
That's 4.
Can I make 4 more invulnerable saves? I can't make 4 more invulnerable saves. The Wraiths get taken down. So Dante and the Sanguinary Guard cut through yet another target. As we go back here to my Lord smacking the Sanguinor. My Lochos Lord raises his Staff of Light and hits on 2s. At strength 5, I'll wound on 3s. And that's 1 wound at -2.
4 up save. Makes it.
No damage caused whatsoever. That is the final action of turn 4 for the Blood Angels. Now, part of their plan was try to shoot the Wraiths and fall back and get onto the Canoptic stuff. That didn't work out. And the other plan was for the Sanguinor to kill my Lord and then fall back onto this objective. And that didn't work out. So that means at the start of turn 5, the Blood Angels are only going to be on this lonely objective here. However, they're still 1 point in the lead at 32 points to 31. And I don't think my Lord is long for this world. As we go on to Necrons, turn 4. At the start of Necrons turn 4, my Warlord needs to take a Battle Shock test, and he's okay. And then at the end of the turn, he can reanimate, and he's in range of that thing, so it's 2d3. He gets all of his wounds back. The Reanimator spraying some love from above there with his reanimating hose. And I am on 2 objectives all of a sudden. I get 5 points at the end of the battle round, the command phase for that objective. 5 points for this objective over here. So all of a sudden, the Necrons are in the lead at 41 points to 32. I'm 9 points ahead. Let's go on and find out what the orders are. So I've got no prisoners. Kill as much as possible and bring it down. Kill enemy vehicles or monsters. So let's burn a CP. Recycle those orders. You can only do it once per battle now. And I've got deploy Teleport Homer instead. This is going to be a really quick turn for the Necron Sultan, because back here, these warriors deploying the Teleport Homer. We teleported all the way over here with Veil of Darkness, and now we're scanning your backfield. Over there, Reanimator took a couple of steps back. My Lord took a couple of steps back, because you have fight firsts, making sure I'm on these objectives. So the only thing I've got left to do is fire the big gun of doom down at the only thing I could see, which is the Blade Guard veterans. It's normally D6 +1 shots, but I get +2 to this because of blast. And I'm hitting on 2s and wounding on 2s. And that is 6 wounds. 6 4+ invulnerable saves.
I fail 4.
Then the Gauss flare array goes in as well. I'll reroll that one because the dice hit the floor. Those are lethal hits. And then these are wound on 4s. And that is 6 more 3-up saves on the Blade Guard veterans.
Well, there's 1 in cover.
Oh yeah, you can apply it on the ones here. So
2-up saves.
Nice.
Sorry, you can't go above a 3. So
you can't go above 3. You're right.
Yeah, you kill another one.
The Doomsday Arc then took out some serious wounds from the Blade Guard squad. There's just the chaplain and the last remaining Blade Guard veteran left standing, and that is the end of Necron's turn 4. I get an additional 5 points for deploying the Teleport Homer up that end of the battlefield, meaning the Necrons are now in the lead at 46 points to 32 as we go to Blood Angels turn 5. In the Blood Angels command phase, my Destroyer Lord, my Warlord, has been named the Oath of Moment. Now we have some battle shock tests to do, starting off with the Chaplain's Blade Guard unit, which is a fail. But once per battle, he can tell a unit not to be battle shocked.
Yeah.
So it passes. So they failed, they passed, the chaplain shouted his head off.
Well, it says at the start of any phase, so it would be in the movement phase. So
Okay.
they don't get that objective.
So you don't have that objective right now.
No.
But in the movement phase, you do have that objective.
But it doesn't matter because...
Well, that would be 5 points. If you fail your battle shock test now,
phase, so.
yeah, at the end of your command phase, you're going to get 5 points. But if he does his thing in the movement phase, you're battle shocked before he has a chance to shout at them.
Yeah.
Instead, you can spend a CP on Insane Bravery, and then they auto pass.
I'll do that.
Now we're on to Dante, Leadership 6, and of course, he passes. Then at the end of the command phase, the Blood Angels get 5 points for being on this objective with their chaplain, so they're 9 points behind at 37.46. And let's find out what the orders are. Then the orders for the Blood Angels are secure No Man's Land, any 2 objectives in No Man's Land, and bring it down, destroy vehicles or monsters. At the end of the Blood Angels movement phase, the chaplains on this objective over here and Dante and the Sanguinary Guard want to kill this vehicle or monster for bring it down and take this objective as well, while the Sanguinor jumps forward and tries to take out the Lord. But just looking across the battle grid, if you do manage to kill this vehicle or monster, that will be 2 points, and secure No Man's Land for another 5 points. That would make it 44 points to the Blood Angels, and the Necrons are already on 46. And then in turn 5, in the Necrons' turn 5, they're definitely going to get this objective up there, making at least 51 points to the Necrons to a maximum 44 for the Blood Angels. So at this point in the battle, before more blood is spilt, we're going to call it a win for the Necrons, and this is the way the world ends. Right, then we played out the Blood Angels' turn, and you did manage to wipe out that Reanimator and take my Lord down to a 1 wound remaining, but hasn't removed him off the battle grid, which will give the Blood Angels a final score of 54 with the painting standard. Then in my turn, I will OC control this over the Sanguinor. My Lord has 2, the Sanguinor has 1, so I do end up taking that objective there. That objective in the backfield, and none of the secondaries I would be able to score. So the final scores with painting standard will be 66 points to the Necrons and 54 points to the Blood Angels. Right, that was epic. Really enjoying 10th edition right now, and somehow the Necrons made some kind of comeback. I think you made some mistakes, some tactical errors, Sultan.
Yeah, I kind of let the Red Thirst take over. So there were some very obvious things that I should have done, and we even talked about it, I think like at turn 3 or something, where you're like, why haven't you just fallen back and charged over here?
Yeah, you stayed locked up with the Wraiths.
Yeah, I wanted to try out Dante's pistol.
Well,
and then other little things like when I couldn't get any secondaries in turn 2 or turn 3, is like I could have just used the command point to recycle one.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep my command point so I could have a go at trying to do the Red Rampage thing.
Right, so you were trying to do some cool stuff.
I was messing about with the data sheets and the thing, and I thought I had enough of a lead that it was okay to do that, and then all of us a sudden surprise in turn 4 when it flipped.
Hey.
And I don't know if it came across the camera, that's when my brain went, oh crap. So I went a bit quiet, I was like, how do I get out of this? There's no way out.
Well, it's a new edition with new toys and new strats. You want to play with all the new things. I think as well, while thinking about it, you need some kind of redundancy in your list. Like you brought really elite. There was 3 massive rocks coming through.
There was no redundancy.
Dante with a rock, Mephiston with a rock, Lamates with a rock. So when you come up with, you had to leave a Librarian Dreadnought sat back there on an objective.
Yeah.
Maybe in 10th, you need a couple of cheap units to babysit a few things here or there. So when you do get secure No Man's Land or get here, do that, you can do it with some redundant stuff. Rather than with a 500 point unit that can smash face or something.
Yeah.
But that's for later on in 10th edition. This is the start of 10th edition while we're trying out all the new toys and things. So in the end, it was going one way, then it went the other way. We're all trying out all the things. I'm enjoying 10th edition right now. What do you think of 10th edition?
It's better than 9th, but it is different.
It is.
And there's definitely some tweaking to do with the data sheets.
It definitely does feel different. There's definitely some, shall we say, typos in some of the data sheets as well that we've found. But anyway, it was an awesome game. Battle Mat is from, and the Battle Mat and the terrain is all from urbanmats.com. Don't buy any coffee. Instead, support Winter's SEO by becoming a channel member. And Sultan's on Sultan Plays YouTube channel.
No one watched this far, don't worry.